Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in today for our presentation. My name is Peter, and I'm presenting on behalf of Taiwan Startup Stadium. Today's topic will be Startup Island Taiwan, Policy, Talent, and Resources. So, what's up with Taiwan? We've heard about this place in the news. Taipei 101 was once the tallest building in the world, an achievement that really displayed ingenuity, since it was done against the obstacles of frequent earthquakes and typhoons. We also have famous night markets with delicious foods and carnival-style games. Of course, in an active geothermal zone, we have numerous hot springs around the island, including one of only a handful of saltwater hot springs in the world located in Green Island, on the eastern coast of the nation. We're also famous for our inclusiveness, becoming the first Asian nation to legalize gay marriage, and we're the birthplace of bubble tea, which I believe most people have heard of or tried, and it's really taken on its own evolutionary path around the world since starting here in Taiwan. Some other interesting tidbits. Taiwan is 0.37% the size of America, or roughly the size of Belgium, and quite fittingly, we rank number 1 in the world for density of convenience stores, with over 11,000 spread across the island. Because Taiwan itself is really quite convenient, this is why it's fitting. These stores do much of what other convenience stores around the world do, and more. For example, they can be your mail delivery hub, your ticket master for train, plane, concert tickets, or event tickets. You can even pay your utility bills and taxes here. In some cases, you can also send your dry cleaning. The island is also connected by 12 high-speed rail stations, and it takes under 2 hours to get from north to south using this service, with options of express trains or slower ones that will take you to smaller stops along the way. Speaking of transportation, we have a wealth of shared bikes and well-maintained cycling tracks all over the island. It's really not an uncommon sight to see groups or individuals taking on the challenge of cycling around the island. This initiative really ties in directly with the government's plans of promoting a greener, healthier, and more sustainable lifestyle. And what about the people and the metrics of Taiwan? With a population of 23.5 million people, it's also quite densely populated, ranking in the top 5 along with our friends in Singapore. For context, since we're around the same size as Belgium, we actually have over twice as many people as Belgium. So with a large population in a small area, it makes for a nice sample size, or sample market for startups, but more on that later. The Swiss-based International Institute for Management Development, or IMD, also ranked Taiwan 9th most technological and the 13th most digitally competitive nation worldwide in 2019. This is an improvement of 2 and 4 places respectively, demonstrating an upwards trend. Growth and development has been a consistent theme for Taiwan in the past decades. We even had the Taiwan Miracle Phase, which was our rapid industrialization and economic growth in the latter half of the 20th century. This put us next to the other Asian tigers of Hong Kong, South Korea, and Singapore. Taiwan is ranked first in the world as a semiconductor foundry and second for IT hardware manufacturing, along with third for industrial cluster development. Even within the small confines of our island, we have various regions which specialize in different industries. For example, the northern part of the island is famous for electronics and technology focus, the central region for its precision machinery and CNC capabilities, whilst the south has petrochemicals and heavy industry. It's true that much of these are mature industries with large incumbent players. However, it's within this backdrop that new and skilled talent or startups can emerge, and an ideology of innovation can be fostered. So with this, we see the culmination of a fresh, new theme, the concept of Startup Island Taiwan. This branding was launched by the government last year as a unifying initiative to promote and develop startups. All startups registered in Taiwan have access to this branding, and we can use this to compete on the global stage. In the last couple of years, the president of Taiwan even went on record to say that innovation will be the biggest driver of our economy going forward, and many startups are at the forefront of this challenge. With the goal of going global, we can look at how this path is progressing through an international perspective. So here in this chart, we see the summary for Taiwan in the latest Global Competitiveness Report. In the last column, we can see that Taiwan is ranked 4th for innovation capability, behind only Germany, USA, and Switzerland. There's a clear direction in where the country is heading towards, powered by government drive and support. But first, let's take a step back and get some context. The Global Competitiveness Report was conducted by the World Economic Forum. This version was for 2019, and it allows us to see how Taiwan or any other selected countries ranks out of the 141 surveyed. The goals of this report are to identify the drivers of productivity and long-term economic growth. In the four main categories, we examined the enabling environment, human capital, markets, and innovation ecosystem. The index further breaks down these four categories into 12 pillars, as we see on the chart. Going in order from left side of your screen, they are the overall ranking, institutions, infrastructure, ICT adoption, for which Korea is first and Taiwan a respectable 11th, macroeconomic stability, health, skills, product market, where we're 14th, labor market, 15th, the financial system, 6th, market size, 19th, business dynamism, and the aforementioned innovation capability. We can see that Taiwan is actually tied first in macroeconomic stability and 12th overall, a one-spot improvement from last year. For context, the top 10 countries last year are Singapore, United States, Hong Kong, Netherlands, Switzerland, Japan, Germany, Sweden, UK, and Denmark. For a nation with limited limitations in natural resources, space, and international political clout, Taiwan is definitely punching above its weight in global competitiveness. To illustrate, you may have heard of these titans of industry that have come from Taiwan. These include the first and second largest contract manufacturers for laptops in the world, Quanta and Compal, the semiconductor MVP, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, better known as TSMC, and of course, Foxconn, a name synonymous with Apple products, and the world's largest provider of electronics manufacturing services, as well as the third largest technology company by revenue. What's evident from these giants is also the connecting theme of contract manufacturing, and the government of Taiwan has recognized this too, which is why in recent years a shift in policy is now targeting an evolution towards high value-added businesses, services, and solutioning, with the goal of stimulating innovation, boosting the competitiveness of industry, and increasing profitability, whilst creating jobs and bringing more balanced development to all regions of Taiwan. How this is shaping up is actually through the 5+2 Innovation Industry Plan. So this plan, the 5+2 Industrial Innovation Plan, covers 7 industries and projects: intelligent machinery, Asia Silicon Valley or IoT, green energy, biomedicine, national defense and aerospace, new agriculture, and the circular economy. Although digital economy and cultural innovation was added later, the name 5+2 remained. So you may be wondering why not just call it 7 or 9 industries. That's because the original plan was to just be the 5 you see on the left-hand side of your screen, and 2 more are added later. Designed to be the driver for industrial growth and a model for sustainable development, the government is using this framework to also build up better relations with advanced economies and further raise Taiwanese living standards. The proposal will be backed by the government's 100 billion Taiwan dollars, or equivalent of 3.3 billion US dollars, Industrial Innovation and Transformation Fund, which is to be used for investment in new technologies. It's not just corporates that are benefiting from this direction of the government. We're also seeing startup players come through. These Taiwanese startups, and of course others, have hit on the themes in 5+2. For example, Gogoro, known as the Tesla of scooters, is leading the way for electric vehicles, and the government is buying in, literally, with subsidies for people purchasing EV scooters and even made-in-Taiwan EV batteries. On the biotech side, Brain Navi developed the first autopilot neurosurgical robot for minimally invasive surgery, and Health to Sync is leading the change for digital healthcare, starting with diabetes management. OmniEyes and Skyrick are both in the space of IoT and smart city, while Titani Focus covers both agriculture and circular economy, using their technology that revolutionizes the traditional microbial composting process with the use of enzymes that stabilize and mature organic wastes. So we have these startups coming through, but how are they growing? Well, the graduates coming out of our universities have been fairly consistent, with business and law being the highest number, followed by engineers. and those in construction and manufacturing. Art and culture and science are the next highest. Recent findings from the government in Taiwan have actually acknowledged an imbalance in talent inflow and outflow, and part of the 5+2 initiative is to address this by keeping the talent in Taiwan. There is not a shortage of skilled people from Taiwan. The government is working on keeping them here. In fact, the government is also encouraging foreign workers to come in, including the skilled workforce. The president of Taiwan has also reiterated that small to medium-sized enterprises will play a key role in the newly emerging regional division of labor, while laying the framework for Taiwan's industrial upgrading. One of the schemes the government has introduced is the entrepreneur visa for foreign workers. Starting in 2015, it allows budding entrepreneurs 1 year to set up a business after arriving in Taiwan, meaning you don't have to set up the business beforehand. The applicant will receive an initial 1-year residency with multiple entries, and the terms can be extended if certain criteria are met after the 1 year. Up to 3 team members can apply together, and it allows you to include your immediate family members, such as spouse and dependent children under 20 years of age. After 6 months residency in Taiwan, you can also apply for our national health insurance scheme of Taiwan, which is actually also quite famous internationally. People from all over the world have been able to apply and get this visa, including those from the US, France, Hong Kong, Canada, Malaysia, Germany, Singapore, Mexico, Honduras, Poland, and Spain. So for eligibility, the government has set out a number of applicable criteria which entrepreneurs only need to just hit 1 on to qualify. So entrepreneurs can get here, but what about after arriving? Well, for funding, Taiwan has the same network available as what you're used to. Of course, we have corporate venture capitalists. 2 of the biggest are Wistron and UMC, who have invested around $1 billion between them in the past 10 years. According to Taiwania Capital Management, CVCs are playing a more important role in startup investment than before, as big companies want partnerships with startups to raise their game or to find targets with solid returns. Among the 729 investments worth around $2.3 billion in local startups from 2015 to August 2019, CVCs led with 414 cases, or 52% of the total. This is higher than the traditional venture capital at 48%. The Taiwan government-run National Development Fund stood at 17%, and foreign investors at 14%. Taiwania themselves are also an interesting hybrid case, as they were founded by the National Development Fund of the Executive Yuan of Taiwan and private enterprises, with capital provided by both public and private sectors, including a mission to fund the 5+2 industries. So far, they have invested around 10 billion Taiwan dollars in fostering new startups. Cooperations between government institutions and private companies can happen in this instance, with the aim of boosting the ecosystem. In addition, or in relation to investment, startups in Taiwan also have access to top-tier accelerators, many of whom are local to global. Amongst these, tech-focused AppWorks have $170 million under management and invest from $200K to $10 million per deal. There are also focused accelerators like Mox, mobile only, or BE Capital, who focus on digital, health, AI, and medtech. Spark Labs also enters each of their batches into 3-month accelerator programs and runs this twice a year. We also have TACC Plus, an accelerator specifically created to launch Taiwan startups into the international scene and to facilitate the flow of scientific talents, building innovation strength and increasing our general competitiveness. Overall, this is a vibrant and dynamic scene for startups with many stakeholders driving their success. Other valuable programs, in this case backed by the government, include co-working and value-add organizations like Taiwan Tech Arena, TTA, and Startup Terrace. They are supported by the Ministry of Science and Technology and Ministry of Economic Affairs respectively. Each aims to help startups enter the international market and obtain international funding. The involvement of government agencies also includes the National Development Council, or NDC, of which we, Taiwan Startup Stadium, is associated with. With policy planning powers, the NDC focuses on sustainable national development, including inclusive growth. Economic growth is not the only priority, though. Environmental stability and social justice are also part of the focus, so that people from all sectors of society are able to participate in the process of economic growth and enjoy the fruits of it. Another part of the NDC enables it to make angel investments, and investments which meet their industrial innovation and transformation criteria. Currently, NDC and other angel investors have already invested in a total of 89 startups amounting to 3 billion Taiwan dollars. As a facilitator and collaborator in the NDC's goals, we can share with you the view of Taiwan startup ecosystems through the Taiwan Startup Stadium's lens. First, a bit on what we do. Our mission is building the startup ecosystem in Taiwan and in Asia and internationally. We connect Taiwan-based startups with global resources, knowledge, and networks, with a view to internationalize the entire ecosystem. This is our 5th year in operation, and we have served over 200 startups whilst building a network that includes over 120 mentors, 500 investors, and over 30 corporations. With our comprehensive global resources, we aim to build a one alliance, one platform, one academy mindset to serve startups, investors, and corporations throughout Asia. In addition to a broad network of ecosystem players, we also provide solid coaching programs through extensive boot camps, workshops, and seminars to empower entrepreneurs to grow and succeed in their startup journey and build an ecosystem throughout all of Asia. Along with our members and startups, we continue to evolve and grow as well. In the early years, a vast majority of resources were tailored towards early-stage startups. However, we see and work with what we call the next-stage startups now to also resolve the growing pains that they experience. How we do this is to provide resources in the form of corporates, governance, partnerships, and multi-channel content and knowledge. By customizing our support to members, we also develop a database and network of resources that can synergize with the ecosystem as a whole. We are the connectors and facilitators, with the goal of making this entire ecosystem flourish as a whole. The culmination of and growing resource base includes our members, community partners, accelerators, incubators, and hubs, the media, venture capitalists, and also the government, and we're always looking for new contributors to our ecosystem. This chart just shows a few of the organizations or companies that we've been working with over the past 5 years. So speaking of joining, one way is through our membership program. Unlike many accelerators that operate with batches or cohorts, our membership is perpetual and only requires members to provide periodic updates to us. At the moment, we have over 200 active members in our network who have raised over $120 million combined. As members, they gain priority status for going to overseas exhibitions or conferences, attending workshops and our boot camps, and also access to our mentors, investors, and business matching services. An especially helpful service, our network of mentors include other entrepreneurs, industry leaders, and professional services, each of whom can share their experiences and advice. Additionally, we have numerous corporate and peer perks, which are provided by our own members, as illustrated in this next slide. So in this slide, we see our corporate perks. Some highlights include AWS credits and Google Cloud, along with legal and accounting services from the Big Four. Our corporate partners also provide discounts on co-working spaces, payment gateways, and CRM tools. The gist of it is that a lot of resources and services will be at your fingertips. And that's not all. Within our upcoming plans, we will enhance our business development offerings through corporate and startup matching, introductions and referrals, and also workshops. Our knowledge and resource network will continue to build and be accessible to members and the ecosystem as well. Investor relations will also be beefed up, and you may be wondering why these. That's because all of these themes stem from listening to our community and acting to meet their requirements. A lot of these are achieved through our semi-annual updates, where we get feedback from our members to see where we can improve to help them. One example of a recent investor matching initiative is in the form of a partnership with the VC KK Fund. This event was called Meet Your Match Taiwan. As the official country partner, TSS worked with KK Fund to run the event, getting 63 participating VCs from across Asia and 112 startups from Taiwan, 37% of which were our SLX members. As this initiative was run across various countries in Asia, including South Korea, Thailand, Vietnam, and Singapore, we got a wealth of different participating VCs. However, those for Taiwan had all expressly said they were interested in Taiwanese-based startups. As mentioned earlier, at TSS we have developed a full spectrum of services in line with the government policies of creating jobs, international reach, and support services driving innovation. We have programs for early to late stage startups, including customized support and even partnership opportunities with us in the latter stages. But from the beginning, through our Youth Rocks program, we are already helping to develop talents for the startup and innovation community. Just last month, we held the first internship fair, the only internship-focused job fair targeting students. We had over 550 applications from students to the 43 startups that pledge 168 internship opportunities to this group of keen students. Furthermore, our Game On Entrepreneur Launchpad is a 12-week intensive program designed for serial entrepreneurs or founders. The course will be assisting them to validate their product market fit, paving the way towards either launching a new service, pivoting products, or starting a new company. To tie into the international community, we also started Asia Rocks, the first and only Asia-focused startup event, as a way to bring together the various ecosystem builders from all over Asia to share knowledge and network. We brought together partners from countries including Thailand, Indonesia, Japan, Korea, Hong Kong, Vietnam, and even Australia and New Zealand. So, if you have an interest or questions about the Taiwan startup ecosystem, or if you're keen to become a part of one of the most dynamic and exciting ecosystems, please contact us through any of these following channels. Thank you for your time.